Every lore they told wasn't a fantasy, wasn't an idle concept. Blood, myth, shadows, hidden behind monsters and vampires was them. Their identity, their fame, everything they created was a message in disguise. This is ENHYPEN's lore. The Border Era marked ENHYPEN's debut, but it played more like an origin story. Give and Taken was a challenge. 7 individuals stood at the threshold between humanity and something unknowable, and with it came a silent question. What are you willing to surrender in order to awaken something new? The transformation shown isn't framed as power, it's framed as loss. It's the cold silence after the applause, the price of crossing into something unnatural. The vampire metaphor here is more than fantasy, it's the disorientation that comes with sudden fame, being consumed by it before ever truly understanding what it demands, as if they were being reborn, painfully. Let me in, continues the narrative. If Give and Taken was the bite, this is the bleeding. The scars still fresh, their bodies moving with uncertainty. There's a sense of disconnection, like they're wearing someone else's skin. The choreography reflects not triumph, but tension. Not confidence, but confrontation with the self. The Border Era is about survival, about learning to live with the echo of something that now lives inside them. Fame, expectation, transformation. But even in the uncertainty, there's movement. And in the distance, the outline of a new world begins to take shape. The Dimension Era takes place on the other side of that threshold, a realm where perception itself begins to warp. In Drunk Dazed, the brightness becomes blinding. The carnival setting feels festive at first, but beneath the laughter lies a surreal nightmare. Drunk Dazed captures the intoxication of being watched, celebrated, and sold. A kind of intoxication that's disorienting rather than liberating. It's confusing. The faces are dazed. The stage is spinning. The performance is a performance within a performance. Then comes Tame Dashed, a storm of contradiction. Freedom is suggested by the visuals, the running, the waves, the wide open spaces. But it's a freedom shadowed by something darker. The lyrics ask, would you rather be tamed or dashed? The conflict is existential. Are they shaping the world or being shaped by it? This era isn't only about what they've entered into, it's about what they left behind. Childhood, certainty, simplicity, all left behind. Before that conflict could resolve, ENHYPEN released the Desire concept film, a quiet, surreal meditation on longing. It didn't offer answers, but it revealed intent, the hunger for identity, the tension between reflection and reality. Desire in this context wasn't romantic, it was existential. Soon after came Dimension, Answer, a repackaged chapter where clarity began to form. In Blessed Cursed, they didn't escape the system, they confronted it. The confusion of Dilamog hadn't disappeared, but now they wore it like armor. The Manifesto Era signals a turning point. No longer trapped in confusion, ENHYPEN confronts the transformation directly. In Future Perfect, they present a unified front. Doubt turns into determination. The choreography is aggressive, movement synchronized and bold. The vampire metaphor evolves here not as a literal weapon, but as a reclaimed identity. They're no longer victims of transformation. They've taken control of it and shaped it into something uniquely their own. Each lyric, each glance becomes a declaration. We are no longer afraid of what we've become. The Manifesto Era is about rewriting the script. No more shadows without light. No more silence without voice. They've cracked the mirror and begun to rebuild it in their own image. But even the strongest mirror can break again. Before that fracture deepened, ENHYPEN released Y.O.I, a quiet, introspective film that wrestled with the question of self. Was identity a choice or a performance? And what happens when you no longer recognize the reflection? That conflict set the stage for Walk the Line, a manifesto in motion. For the first time, they weren't asking who they were declaring it. That question didn't fade, it festered. And when the mirror finally shattered, what emerged was dark blood. Dark Blood dives deeper into what transformation really means. The performances here are heavy, not because of fatigue, but because of truth. Every movement feels loaded with memory. Blood and darkness are no longer metaphors. In songs like Bite Me and Sacrifice, there's a haunting maturity, a slow surrender to the inevitability of who they've become, not reluctantly, but knowingly. This era frames the vampire not as a tragedy, but as a legacy, inherited, lived with. Every frame feels deliberate. Every image, a reflection of years of internal conflict and creative ambition. The line between narrative and identity continues to blur, and as they descend further into the dark, something unexpected stirs. The quiet, painful hope of being truly seen. Romance Untold brings something unfamiliar: intimacy. This isn't just about love. It's about recognition, the possibility of connection even in darkness. ENHYPEN explores a different kind of emotional tension here. EXO is soft and aching, revealing a longing to be understood. Still Monster brings internal conflict to the surface, facing the fear of hurting someone because of who you've become. And Lucifer turns the tables entirely, showing love as dangerous, almost destructive. These aren't typical love songs. They're emotional snapshots of the chaos that vulnerability brings. In this world of curses and conflict, connection becomes complicated. Love doesn't heal, it complicates. And yet it's real. This chapter offers no resolution, only reflection. What if love doesn't save you? What if it simply shows you everything you tried to hide? Another side of ENHYPEN's transformation, the longing to be seen. And in that mirror, another question forms. What if love reveals what the shadows tried to bury? Dark Moon, the Blood Altar, takes their lore and expands it not just through storylines, but through style. The series took on an anime-inspired art form, creating a visual bridge between the idol world and the mythos they had been building for years, a narrative universe where ENHYPEN's alternate selves live out their stories in full. The vampire myth is explored from every angle: power, fear, friendship, grief. Each character reflects different emotional response to transformation. The genius lies in how this webtoon mirrors their actual growth. It gives form to the questions they've been asking since Give and Taken. The decision to present it in anime style wasn't aesthetic, it was symbolic. It allowed the emotions, fears, and powers of their characters to feel surreal, timeless, and yet eerily familiar, like a memory that never happened but always existed. Dark Moon isn't a detour, not moving away from their lore. It's an echo of their fears, their desires, their fight. The world of Dark Moon didn't end with webtoon panels. It grew, breathing through visuals, music, and concept films. The Blood Altar trailer wasn't just a teaser, it was a preview of what was coming, a world not just imagined, but fully animated. Every piece, from the webtoon to the concept trailer, was laying the groundwork for this next evolution. Not a departure from their story, but the most vivid expression of it yet. The world they've been building, of pain, connection, and identity, takes on new color, motion, and breath. Their story, once told through shadows and stages, will soon unfold in ink and light. And though the format has changed, the questions remain. Who are we beneath the mask? What does it cost to be seen? And is there salvation in the curse? It's still ENHYPEN's story, still the same mirror. Only now, we see it clearer than ever. The real curse in ENHYPEN's story was never vampires. It was change. The terrifying, beautiful truth that, in order to grow, something must be left behind. They gave that transformation a face, a sound, a story, one filled with shadows and blood, but also courage, vulnerability, truth. ENHYPEN didn't just create lore, they created a mirror. One that reflects the darkest parts of growing up and the light that comes from surviving it. Because in the end, transformation isn't about fantasy, it's about becoming. And ENHYPEN dared to be bold. Will you?